is a great question because it feels like there's not enough information when you look at it. But using the clues together, we can work out where Martin is. I'm going to stick him here. And the first thing we're told is that they're the same number of people in front as behind. So let's say there are n people in front and n people behind. And if we look at Martin's position then he's going to be in the n plus 1th position. Now I'm going to somehow try and use this information, the 19th place and the 28th place. Well, we can see that Martin must be further on in the queue than the 19th place. So n plus 1 is going to be less than 19. He must be in the 18th or 17th or lower position than that. So n is going to be less than 18. Remember, n is a whole number, so actually n is going to be less than or equal to 17. Right, also, we can see, I mean, we could do the same for the 28th, but that wouldn't give us a better condition. But using the 28th, we know that there are at least 28 people in the queue, so that we've got that 2n plus 1 people are in the queue. So 2n plus 1 is going to be greater or equal to 28, and therefore 2n is going to be greater or equal to 27, n greater or equal to 13.5. Now remember, n is a whole number, so n has got to be greater or equal to 14. And we can see now that n can only take a few values: 14, 15, 16, or 17. Actually, these are all the options. Well, not quite the options, because remember its position is n plus 1. So we've got to come back to that. But basically, these are the options here. What I've not yet used is the fact that the number of people is a multiple of 3. So right, so I'm going to actually now work out 2n plus 1. So I'm going to get 29 from this one, 31. Okay, neither of these are multiple of 3. 33, this one is, and then 35. So it must be that 2n plus 1 is equal to 33, which means that 2n is going to equal 32, and n is going to equal 16. So what position is Martin in? He's in the 17th position, and we've done it. Now, I've got to be honest, when I did this question, I didn't use this information. This is quite an elegant way of doing it. I kind of went straight for the 2n plus 1 part. I said that 2n plus 1 is a multiple of 3. So I just wrote down some multiples of 3, basically, knowing I did use the fact that there's got to be at least 28 people in the queue. So I started with 27, even though that's too small, and I just wrote some of these down. I also then saw that, okay, remember it's an odd number, so actually I can ignore these ones and just write down every multiple of 6. Okay, so I've written quite a few down. So now if I subtract 1, and then divide by 2, then it would be 28. Right, well, what can we now look at? Well, actually, sorry, now all I did was look, oh, this is one that's in the answers, so it's got to be 17. Now, see, it worked, and it works for a math challenge question, but it's not as good as this approach, because this approach would work even if I didn't have multiple choice. So I just wanted to share this way, because there are ways of doing math challenge questions quickly, but for full understanding, make sure you understand this, and the fact that there is actually a unique solution which is not seen here. And well, you get it, but you have to kind of delve into a bit more detail to see why it can't be 19 or 22. And it comes remember from this fact here. um, that, yeah, we've already got the 19th person in, and obviously he's ahead of them, so all of these rule out, and this one rules out as well. So we can still get there, I suppose. I just kind of stopped at that point. But yeah, you can say that because we've got his friend 19th, then yeah, you can rule these out. But I prefer this first approach, I've got to be honest.